Welcome to House Party.
Party on.
All right, so we're here today testing out our tools, making sure that we know how to use everything, and we want you to come here and holy shill it. Of course, as usual, Van and Deacon are here with me, and Vanilladelphia, which is not Philadelphia, and makes me think of cheese, and we don't always want to think of cheese. We are going to talk about boosts, Boost Foundry, DAOs, making DAOs, how DAOs are weird, how DAOs create pain in your soul. If you have a story to tell, jump on and ask to speak, and it will be whisked off into the limelight, and we'll hear you out. How are you feeling today, Deacon? Fumbling.
Good. Sorry, I'm unmuted now.
Yeah.
Doing good. Doing great. How about you?
I'm all right. My hair is falling. How about yours?
Mine is up. If we had a video, you could see my big afro.
Yeah, I love your Deacon Fro.
Deacon Pro. Right now.
Like a wild poodle from the woods. And thank you, Vanilla, for all the support in getting these things up. We now have proper visual identity being rebuilt for House Party. And I think the first subject that everybody's asking us about is what the fuck is Feuerfrei, Feierabent, holy shit, right? Ja, wir können das verstanden hier heute. Also, Feuerfrei is fire freely, and Feierabend is happy hour. And well, I guess you figured holy shit all by yourself. So feel free to just ask to speak, and we'll get you on stage. And we want to hear what you're doing, and what are you worried about, what you're excited about, and how do you feel about the Ether price today, which is a valid discussion at this holy day of highest ever. So it's more like a celebration, and I do have a glass of wine with me, and if you don't, I'm sorry for you. Maybe it's morning for most of our listeners.
Yeah,
But that's no
like
excuse. That's no excuse.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. There's a saying in Germany, which is kein Bier vor vier, which is no beer before four, which also works in English. But it's only about beer, so go get your scotch, gentlemen.
Nice. Well, yes, we start with some boosts.
Yeah, boosts are exciting. And do we have any new boosts coming besides the ones that are already there?
I like how you say boosts. Boosts?
Is it wrong? Boosts. No, it's just boosts. Boosts.
Boost.
Boosts. Get it boosted.
It's very Nordic. Hoo.
Yeah.
I've been
In our newsletter, we highlighted kind of the first ones we're getting started on. There may be a couple coming out tomorrow, I think. Or maybe even today. I don't know. We have a Mintgate boost, so this is cool. It's like if you're familiar with Mintgate, it's
I assume it has something to do with launching NFTs or tokens.
No. You want to
say so? Correct me.
It's more heavier on the gate side. So you know how like Collabland you can kind of have that token gated channel on Discord? Well, what Mintgate does is token gated content on the web. So
wow.
So it's kind of cool, like, and it's especially for DAOs, it's neat because it's like DAO members have now access to some content. So in the case of like a raid guild, which is kind of like a service DAO where everyone's working together and doing things, they have a lot of content, and it's in a lot of different places. A lot of it they only want members to see. Maybe it's some personal information about how to get a hold of someone, or maybe it's some design assets or something like that. So now we can have it all in one place in the DAO, gated behind membership in the DAO. On more of a creator DAO side of this, so creator and collector DAOs are something that like I think Boost get into a lot. But So on the creator DAO side of this, you could think of like a newsletter that is only available to DAO members. So the DAO may publish a newsletter, and members, staking in for some amount can
And you
see
can set tiers for this?
set of. Well, this is MVP version, so we'll start here, and then I think you can.
Yes or no? Yeah.
I think you can set different, like, you need to have 10 shares or 20 shares or 100 shares or something.
Yeah, I think you can do that natively, actually, yeah. But
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I have so many use cases for this already in my head that I
Yeah.
need today. So thank you.
Yeah, the thing I really like about it is more the Radiant side, because it's always like, where are these files? Where's the design assets? How do I get a hold of someone? Do I need to go log into our database, or,
Yes, that's my daily life in the Raid Guild as well.
So having it all in one place will be cool. And this is the first version, and we'll continue working on it and building on it, on both that kind of as a file management system and as a kind of Patreon system. And so we may end up with kind of two flavors of it.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking about the Patreon first, because the first joke I was going to make is like, oh, okay, so creators like me can actually get paid now. Great. I'm going to start doing my own like crypto OnlyFans, and you guys can see me wearing thongs. But then the other thing that I thought about is that it actually is, okay, I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not a promise, but the thing is, it actually helps with the permissionless side of DAOs as well, because you remove the sort of social filter that you have to know the right person to ask the question to, and they have to give enough of a shit about you to actually answer, and all of these like layers of filtering that sometimes acts against the coordination costs lowering devices that we want to build. So this is super exciting.
Mm. Yeah, that'll be a good one. And maybe we can get into kind of this creator collector thing later, but the other one that is, again, going to be kind of the MVP of is Snapshot. And so there's DAOs that manage a token, like a community token of some sort. And like Uberhaus, for example. And sometimes outside of just the DAO vote on how to manage that token or how to do more core things, engaging a larger group of ERC20 holders that can transfer their tokens and all that. The DAO members are actually like they can't transfer their shares. So there's been requests to have some kind of snapshot integration. So our initial integration is just kind of like you put in your snapshot, and we'll bring it into the app and do a summary of everything that's going on, and give you a chance to link out to it from your DAO. So giving it just a little more of a one-stop shop inside the DAO for people. I think potential, and this will tie into another thing we had in our newsletter, which was the community token launcher. Because it seems to be a pretty common use case for engaging your community outside like the core DAO members. So yeah, I think in the long run this will be built out to be like that kind of support.
These are 3 solid steps, I think, in all that we need to get built. Are you guys doing it all DAOhaus yourselves, or do you guys have like different working groups and you're accepting help from other people, or how's it working?
Yeah, we're kind of in a reorg right now, right? With Uberhaus launching and all that, it kind of feels like that. So we are like expanding our core team for other contributors that are wanting to get involved. We're going to start doing like an open dev meeting, maybe once a week or once every other week, just where the devs can hang out with devs in the community that want to get more involved and have ideas. Already, like in our chats, we've been getting some really cool feedback from devs that are either like building off of our infrastructure or have ideas on how to like do a new boost or changes to the DAO contract. So we're getting a lot of good feedback. So we want to start absorbing that more. We have House is creating these kind of DAO to DAO relationships now. So House, DAOhaus, and Raid Guild are kind of going to be collaborating on pushing some of these boosts forward and doing some kind of parallel development on it. So that's going to be really cool.
It's so exciting because it's just the beginning. We only had one governance call, and there's so many things moving already.
Mm-hmm.
This is by far the most fast developing community that I've been a part of in the last few years. Why do you think that is? Why where people find blocks, we always find an avenue to just get shit done. And I don't want to be like clapping for ourselves, but I really think there's like a place for a case study on this.
I think there's a few parts to why our community is kind of expanding so fast right now. One, we had a really good base, right? We've been around for a year working on things, even though right now it seems kind of like everything's messed up with this kind of reorg, but we've always been community first. This is kind of like our metacartel roots. And I mean, we really take that serious, like really serious. Everything we do is like, we try to do community centric, and that even came down to when we launched our token and focused on other groups, like all the DAOs using DAOhaus that are building communities. So yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit of a mess right now, but we're gonna work it out, and growing pains, I guess. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, I guess to piggyback on that, yeah, I think it's just community first. And like in the intrinsic motivation in that, right? Like we're all here building DAOs for the future, and you know, that's our purpose in life for the time being. So yeah, I mean the community just keeps growing, but and I think because that's our focus, right? Like we're here to build for communities. We're not here to build a token or to make money or do any of these things. We're like literally a community of people working together to build for decentralized communities of today and tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And today is super interesting. Tomorrow is super interesting. But the day after that is undefined, and it takes a community. All these things are like it's a new frontier. Like basically from like where we're at right now, even on the DAOhaus side, like every step forward from here is basically a new frontier where humans have never been before. They've never tried these things before. From pretty much from here on out, I think there's still like a few things that we're catching up on, but for the most part, we're caught up on like current use cases and now going into like this new frontier. So like this is a community of people who aligned on that purpose, right? And everything's community first. So I think it just does it itself because of that.
And I mean, on the side of like building community, I mean, that's been happening since the beginning of time, and there's been and even kind of more decentral organizations even before blockchain. But the blockchain side of it, yeah, we're paving, or we have our machetes and we're chopping a path through the woods.
But we've never built communities like this before, you know, especially.
Yeah. One of the things that I would definitely recommend for other communities that are looking at this and thinking, how the fuck do they do it, is from my sort of insider perspective that it's not actually doing all the things with everybody. I don't see people discussing price or compensation that often. Everybody's focused on doing and trusting that the abundance will be shared, and it's been working constructively for like a year or more.
Yeah.
And I don't see people having a lot of courage of doing this, and so much time securing funding, discussing who gets what.
Right.
instead of just doing, you know.
Well, which has also been a nice filter, I think, for the community itself, right? Like to really come in here and contribute value, like you need to be motivated by the intrinsic values of what's the purpose, because you're not going to get, a quick salary job that blah blah blah. Like you have to create value, and the community will reward you for it, probably 10x. but regardless, if you can't make it through that filter, then yeah, I mean, I think it just like keeps the community going forward, I guess, because of that.
Another interesting kind of topic or thing to define is like not the word DAO, because I mean can mean a million different things, but
Yeah, it's just
it
like
does seem to be like the way we are thinking about community first is different than the way that people think of the word DAO, because it's more like the autonomous part first, right? Like making everything ran by algorithms and computers. Like we're actually seeing the value in having the transparency offered by a blockchain and the human side of a community taking advantage of these blockchain technologies. So for us, it's more we're like instead of a computer like making all the decisions, we're actually saying like no, the humans should actually still make a decision, and that's what makes a good community. It's not necessarily like having everything run by an algorithm and futarchy or whatever. It's there's a long tail of people who just want to use decentralized organizations.
Totally. And I just want to let our listeners know there's quite a few people in the room. You guys are welcome to raise your hand and join us on the stage, even if you don't have really much like a goal. We want to hear from you today. Today is like open stage night. Feel free. Let's bring Eve on the.
Yesterday we had a good session, I thought.
How do I do this? Bah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you best got them.
It's coming on.
There we go. Aloha, guys.
Yeah.
Nice to hear your
Welcome to the
voices.
stage.
House party.
House party.
Yeah.
Feierabend, yeah.
So tell us your story, Eve. What's up?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Tell us your story. What's up? What's up? What do you have to share with us?
It's funny. I had a really cool chat with Vengist yesterday about my passion about DAOs, and I think it was the One Hive hackathon. I think just pre DeFi summer, where I really got hooked on the concept of DAOs and bonding curves also. And Moloch, I started discovering Moloch, and ever since I've been jumping into the rabbit hole as all of you guys, and now it became way beyond a passion. It became like a full-time thing. So I've been running an online business for 20 years, and now I'm there's like no way back. Once you go DAO, once you
Right.
understand where all this is going and all the potential it's opening up, it's like there's no way back. And now I'm really committed, and I think I found my niche in DAOhaus, because many of the features that I was looking for, that I was hoping maybe to build myself or maybe to see built, that's exactly what you guys have been building now. So yeah, I'm really keen to get to join the party, basically.
And do you have a DAO rolling?
Sorry?
Do you have your own DAO already or community?
Yeah,
that
I started my own DAO, but it's like a really lonely place. It's just me and my co-founder, with whom I've been doing online business for 20 years. And we set up like a DAO like in September somewhere last year. But as I said, I was lacking the features that I was looking for. So we didn't really pursue or try to push it. we just kept an eye both on the Discord and on the progress. And I think I chatted quite a while with Adam as well, who wrote amazing articles. And that was my main connection. And then yeah, especially now since the launch of the V2, I was like, okay, wow, now this is going into the direction I was hoping it was going.
Yeah.
I think that'll be like a, I mean, yeah, and that will, I like, there's something there on that element. So like the features that get built, and like going back to like what Deacon was talking earlier about community first, like that's why those features will be built, because the communities themselves have the power to say that. You know, now that the communities themselves own this platform, they literally can get that stuff built. And that's super important to us because, yeah, like there's not like a centralized team that says like, oh, no, we're going to build this because it's cooler. But if communities say they need this, then that's just what's going to get built. And like for communities, that peace of mind will be really nice down the road in the long tail, right?
Yeah.
Having that leadership and governance over that stuff, you can know that those things will still keep coming in a community first manner.
And one of the kind of cool things that we're going to be trying to implement pretty soon is token log, which if anyone's familiar with that, that's basically a way to vote on issues like for building features and stuff.
Yeah, like rank things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like ranked voting, or I think they also have quadratic voting. But you can use like house token to stake some vote on like a feature, boost it up. So that'll be really cool when we get that out.
Oh yeah. This ties in with our next week's guest, Joel from Ceramics. He's also working on conviction voting and some other mechanics and that don't use gas and things like this. Maybe it would be cool to have you over here, Deacon, to discuss token log and ceramics and possible integrations.
Yeah, and Spencer's kind of the wizard around that.
Yeah, they've been connected.
Another thing you mentioned was that your DAO is kind of lonely right now, but I think that's the way that it starts, right? Raid Guild started with 3 members, and now over 100. Metacartel, we had like 10 people that started it. It's actually, I think, better to start slow. It's like you're building a company or something. I think a lot of people are like, okay, I'm just going to launch token and drop it to every user that's ever used Nifty Inc. or whatever, and there's my DAO. But I think you lose some of the relationship there, that growing something initially kind of slow, that it builds. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely agree. And for me, for at least for us, like the lonely team, I would say it's actually not so lonely because we've built up like a community of actually 70,000 people, but it's on a platform that I started to hate like with a vengeance. So we were really early on Facebook, like we were started like day 1 on Facebook, and we've built like a community of 70,000 people, but I have no clue how to onboard them, and I feel almost awkward onboarding them because none of them are crypto native, and I'm still trying to figure out how the right approach is to do that. And so that's why we kept it lonely. We kept it just us, the core team, trying to see that all the building blocks are there. And maybe one day, you know, I'll be able to send out one invite and see who's going onto this new journey, and then close down my Facebook account. That's basically my dream.
Oh,
Yeah, you have to find out who the super spreaders are, the most gossipy people, and then do a little cohort, five of them, onboard everybody, get them to use MetaMask. Because
what we've been talking about a lot is is these kind of like concentric circles of community, right? It's the organization can be flat, but there's people that are core more involved, and I don't think that's bad. Like, so the DAO core team, can be like the shareholders, and then you can engage your greater community through a token. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's actually a good model, and still is flat.
Yeah, as long as there's paths in between. I think that's the most important thing to maintain in a DAO is paths from token holder to shareholder or whatever, like having easy flows between different tiers of membership or whatever is super important.
Yeah, and
I agree.
Kind of like in open source too, you always get that, and I bring this up a lot because I don't. The ties are very similar. When you have an open source project, you always have the core team, and they're like the ones that are managing PRs and doing reviews and QA, and then you have like these expanding groups of like all the contributors that are using the tool and are part of the community, but not necessarily part of the core team and don't really want to be like in that level.
Right.
And then you have like even a bigger group of just the users that are using open source software in some way, all part of the same community, but different levels of engagement.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the revolving doors of permissionlessness is that somebody who wants to get super involved finds the way to get super involved, and people who want to take a break can take a break without breaking the machine. If you manage to hit those two notes, and the inflow and outflow is somewhat balanced, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think that's super important point, especially that second one. Like, if me and Vin were hit by a meteor tomorrow, would DAOhaus still be okay? I think it would. Like,
or eaten by a bear.
You'd probably just be better.
There, a volcano erupts under my house, or I don't know.
Oh, I do live very next to a volcano. It's true.
You live next to a volcano? Where are you these days, man?
It's rumored to explode in the next 50 years. They've, of course, been saying that for the last 20 years, but we'll see.
So we got 30 years left.
In theory.
Yeah, like, would it continue on? It's kind of one of those things why I like the DAO model for the core team instead of just a multi-sig, because then the DAO core can grow and scale better. If all the signers on a 305 multi-sig are in an airplane crash together or whatever, then the community is like SOL. But if you have 100 people on the core DAO, then it starts to expand or reduce that risk.
Yeah, until they start taking like renting jets and taking member-only trips.
Oh yeah, that's an attack record.
Yeah, members-only jackets.
Yeah, if we do like a member-only then we'll have to be careful of the volcano.
Uh-huh.
So
yeah, it's a super interesting problem that you talked about, Eve. Like I didn't know you had a Facebook group. So yeah, that's a super interesting element of like, how do you start to engage? Like, I like the point you made, just sending them an invite, and somehow that working for them, right? Or even the ones who figure it out or something.
Yeah,
help think through that
absolutely. I
stuff.
mean, at
Pretty
this
cool.
stage, it feels like it's almost a one-on-one show. I mean, there's this one guy who's like really involved in our community from the start. He has absolutely no clue what's crypto about. I mean, it took me months just to wrap his head around what is blockchain, what is crypto, what is ETH, what is DAO, what is an NFT. It's been a struggle.
I
And
know.
it's like, yeah, it's a one-on-man show, and just getting that guy onboarded. But the thing is, once you get one guy onboarded, he can onboard like 100 other people, because
Yeah.
he actually has so many other connections in my own community that he could take on that role. So I think one-on-one can actually scale.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works currently, which, like ideally, we over time and practice, we figure out ways to make it go faster and things, but that's totally how like decentralized community works today, right? Like it starts with a few members who let in other members and then give them the keys to the kingdom, and now they can help everybody else. They can onboard new members, and then it just keeps going.
Yeah, but I also had like the contrary experience, and I want everybody because I don't want us to walk away with the sensation that it's hard with everyone. This friend of mine that had no Web3 experience, once exposed, he just jumped in. So he aped in so hard. In less than 3 weeks, the dude launched his own DAO here with DAOhaus, and sent more than like 600 NFTs to all the attendees of the DeFi Prime Time event. Everybody got an NFT for free. And the reason why he could have all this experience is because I onboarded him to XDAI instead of Ethereum. And that made a gigantic difference, because he can make mistakes, he can try things out, he can just throw things around.
And that's the best way to learn this shit, right? Like any amount of talk, we've all talked to people, we've all sent articles to people. It doesn't work. They have to do.
When you see 50, 60, when you see $100 to do something you don't know if it's going to work, it gets really hard.
Yeah, exactly. So you just have to do it once or 3 times, really, because you'll probably fail a couple times. But then when it does work that one time, you're like, I get it.
Yeah. Nowadays, because 3 years ago is horrible, but nowadays when I use Web3 to do anything, I just find it so much better than legacy normie world. It's a great feeling.
Some things are really are like 10x better, 100x better,
Yeah.
But then it's a paradigm shift. It's totally different, right? And so it's hard to explain it to people. And
possible, but yeah.
But you have to so I think it was on Bankless last week, Peter Pan was a guest, and the history of why it's important, why decentralization is important, why encryption is important. Those things, like us old school cypherpunks or whatever, it's ingrained in us. But people need to actually realize that there's a reason why this is important. So it's the fact that it's hard is good, because people have to learn that. If everything was just like button click Web 2 experience, then we water down the reason, which isn't good.
There's going to be a shirt tomorrow on Meta Factory with the thing that it's hard, it's good, Deacon.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't have any particular pride in this having been part of my story, but I think I was the first human to actually pay my bills 100% from a DAO, from the Genesis DAO, because it was so hard to get gigs as an immigrant here in Germany, unless I was doing service or construction work or packing fruit, which are things that actually happened. The Genesis DAO gave me the opportunity to work as a facilitator, doing art, doing videos, doing a bunch of stuff that I wanted to do. but like it was just so bad. It wasn't just the fault of Alchemy itself. It was the fault of the Ethereum network. Everything they were building was just less good. And I paid all my bills 5 months, man. Waiting for those proposals to pass was an intense experience. The politics of DAOs, like I lived it in such an intense state back then. And I see where we are now, and it just, yeah, I feel like a kid doing Web3 stuff today.
Yeah, same. XDAI and the L2s and their rise has allowed it to return to its like fun roots in some ways.
Yeah.
And
It's
you guys
crazy
in
to
Raid
me.
Guild, as Raid Guild, were one of the first guys to embrace XDAI like wholeheartedly and start building stuff for it. No.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, and DAOhaus, because I mean, we had real users who like needed to run their communities, right? Like these aren't just people experimenting with smart contracts. They're like communities of humans that are like contributing value to the world, and they needed to be able to continue doing that. And mainnet was not working, and like so immediately it was an existential crisis that we all took very seriously, and immediately, as quick as possible, started building for better experiences on XDAI, and yeah, Raid Guild was a huge part of that. And it's paid off because yeah, now we're here, and now there's like shit tons of DAOs on XDAI, which is great. And yeah, like you said, people can have that experience where they can come over there, and there's Honey Swap where they can just like do a bunch of stuff over there. They can play with DAOs. Yeah, it's awesome.
You can provide
Yeah,
liquidity for
XDAI is a game
house.
changer for sure, for sure.
So Deacon, what were you saying when I interrupted you? I'm sorry.
I don't remember.
Dan.
Yeah. Oh, Raid Guild and One Hive, which are both two kind of web heavy groups, kind of hopped into XDAI at the same time, and it was like, oh, it's actually really easy to port apps over to it. I mean, there's been some, like Austin's been working on XDAI for a long time with burner wallets, things like that. But we had a weekend XDAI-a-thon, and we're like, let's just port over a couple apps, open source dApps, and see how it works. And it was like over the weekend we did like 3 or 4, and like, wow, that was cool.
I think it was like 10 or 11 actually, but yeah.
Yeah, it was a bunch.
Well, if nobody said it, I'll say it. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's making a huge difference.
And now we have Polygon also that's doing cool things. So these kind of side chains that have aligned themselves with Ethereum it's a good stopgap before ETH2, I guess. Yeah. So one of the things is this misinformation that I get from people. This morning, an artist friend contacted me selling me like a Tezos NFT. And I was like, oh, cool. What, like, why didn't you do Ethereum? Because that's like the only place anyone is use it. And it was this like environmental. I won't touch Ethereum because it's so bad for the environment. And I don't know. Anyways, these are the kind of things.
I'm sorry, guys, but I really have to interrupt here. This is so freaking funny, because I actually, when I started, I had this incredible developer. He jumped into the rabbit hole of Tezos, and we've had big discussions on Discord ever since until today. And we had the exact same discussion even earlier today, where I said, listen, man, you're such a Tezos maxi. Why don't you get it that the whole community is on XDAI or is on Ethereum at least? I mean, and he doesn't get it. And I mean, we can be blamed for the same thing. I think maybe we're all ETH maximalists, but probably for the right reasons. He's that side. And that has been really a struggle for me to explain to my devs. So it's really fun to hear you guys talk about that.
Yeah, we were talking the network effects, right? Like it's hard for them to they don't understand the network effects. Like it's a desert, there's nobody using anything. Why do you think that's valuable? You know, and like, I don't know, it's interesting. I think it's part of the paradigm shift, but network effects are incredibly important in Web3 because it's all decentralized. So maybe they're like much more valuable than they were in Web2 or, you know, old world traditional organizations and products and things. I don't know. But it's like everybody's just ignoring the network effects of community, human relationship, right?
Yeah.
And they're devaluing that. And we all know, like, I think we all here like agree that that's the highest value that is available. Like humans coordinating with one another to make new things is the core of humanity to me. And like, and the value of the network effects of Ethereum community is, I mean, that's it's, there is no technological thing that will that will change my opinion of that. The humans would have to like someone would have to build a better community, which for me means more composable, more collaborative, which Ethereum's the most composable, collaborative community I've ever seen. And it's hardwired to make that even better over, I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting. James Duncan from Maple and Abridged and a bunch of different places is putting together our article or initiative, I guess, to kind of highlight this
Square one
disparity, right? And so there's a chart, and it has all the different L1s, has Bitcoin and Ethereum on it, and it's showing the market value or the market cap value and the community engagement, basically. And so Bitcoin is like way up there on value. It's on the very top, but it's on the far left side, just like slightly to the right on community engagement. And then Ethereum is way out on community engagement, like the number of developers. It's measuring that kind of stuff. And then all the other L1s are in this little teeny corner at the bottom left. All
Yeah.
each other. So it's interesting when you look at like the actual data.
And that's not to say that these other chains should fail. I think we should be here and there and seeding whatever brings utility. I mean, XDAI, if there was no liquidity, it would still be useless. So it's not, so yeah, I guess I was unprepared to start a statement because I always think about the between the human thing and the economic thing and how the incentives meet in the middle somewhere.
Well, and the other chains are all really interesting. If they got something good, then Ethereum just can absorb it.
Yeah, but I try to keep a mindset of the seeing Web3 as of a movement, and I think we all can profit from seeing each other as one movement. And I guess I am an Ethereum maxi because that's where I grew up, sort of, right? It's sort of my nation. But still, I don't want to be a nationalist.
Right. Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's always got to be other contenders.
I mean, Yves, I'm going to make a wild guess here. Are you French?
Yeah, kind of. I'm actually from Belgium, but I have a French accent because I've been living here for 10 years now.
So I could have guessed Belgium because I felt also a slight, there was one moment where you had a slight Dutch accent, like just a little bit.
Yes, exactly.
But the thing is,
Felipe, where are you from?
I'm from Brazil. I was born and raised in Rio, in that fucking mess.
Brasilia.
Also, Lucas is in the audience. Ju is in the audience. Brazilians, do you guys wanna jump in here if you want? This is an open stage night. Luigi, I don't want to dox him, but he's also from a place similar to my place, but not the same place.
Juliana.
Oh yeah, Juliana. Also,
let's take her to the stage. Ju has always interesting to say. Well, bam.
Yay!
Yeah.
Alô?
Welcome. Tudo ótimo.
Cadê o Lucas? That's such a nice afternoon. Always the best part of the week, the
Yeah.
house party live, the
Let's take it
difficulties and
over and make a samba.
struggles.
You know, in Brazil, the most busy night of like partying is not Friday, it's not Saturday, it's Thursdays. It's when we decide to really get fucked up.
Why is
At
it
least in
Thursday?
my
Thursday? Yeah, Thursday, exactly. Just because you just
totally.
can't wait till Friday, or what? That's what it is for us, I think.
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I guess some of us like go from Monday to Monday. There's not a real difference between days of the week.
I
But
think in my former Brazilian life, I was a member of the artistic class, and then we used to do Thursday partying to avoid normies. I think that was the thing. Also, Mondays were a big party night
Oh, right.
because none of the normal people could party on Mondays. That's when all the crazy parties were.
Right.
if I can
I
have
think
my 5 minutes on communities and the
you can have
different ways
100
of
minutes on
discussing.
community, baby. I'll
The
shut up.
best surprise was knowing that Yves is coming from a huge Facebook community and he's from Belgium. That was like totally unexpected, but really cool to hear. Um, it was such a difficulty also to onboard people that are not crypto. And over the years, I just realized like sometimes the person is really well intentioned and such a nice person, but they just don't want to get it. And you just have to stop investing time and energy to like convince that person that Ethereum works, that the highways are here, that most of the developer community is here. I see that like if they want to believe in Teslas, if they want to believe in other blockchains and they see future over there, good luck for them, because 5 years from now they're gonna come back and they're gonna see like how much bigger this ecosystem got. And I think like what who mentioned that XDAI, it's such a good solution because in the beginning when I was onboarding people, like gas costs were $2-3, so it was much easier just to like do the whole combo. You come, you plead, you pledge for the DAO. You also learn how to invest $10 in compound. You also get another 10 DAI and you put in Aave and you do other things. So with 30 DAI, you could do so much. But now, like if you have 10 DAI and $80 gas, then you're like so much trouble to teach the new person. So you automatically like have, okay, now you have DAI, now you go to XDAI, now you WXDAI, and that's the fun of getting hard and then understanding that like the beauty of this privacy game and all the security goes in the stronger networks, right? So I think people like after a certain level they think that this is too complicated when it's not. It's just like screen sharing all the time, like take pictures, click here, click there. It's not that hard. Come on, do this on a Sunday morning, and then people are gonna be happy to be part of the community. But I see like
Totally.
the best of DAOhaus is like events like this, an afternoon of fun with people that you met in person one day, and now you're like having the Discord party live. So that's the beauty of the community.
No, I was trying to teach my family for about a year and a half, but mostly my sister because she has two incredible, intelligent, powerful children that I'm invested in their survival. When she really needed money, she got it in like 4 hours. It really worked. So necessity is the mother of invention. That's what I'm trying to say. I think it was Eric Hobsbawm that said this. Eve, I have a quick question for you. Is this 70,000 people community by any chance?
Is that, sorry, repeat?
Is it Make Sense? Are you related to the founding members of Make Sense?
No.
Oh, okay. Because it's a huge international entrepreneur
it's
community that's like France and Belgium, etc.
Oh, no. It's called a community. It's called Live the Life. It's been existing for 20 years now. It's taken
wow.
many shapes. It went from like a video streaming pioneer thing avant la lettre, like they say in French, before YouTube started, we were doing video streaming, and then we started renting private houses like 3 years before Airbnb. So we were always a little bit ahead of the game somehow. But right now it just mainly an editorial project based on my background. You know, I come from the surf industry. The guy I mentioned, Afif, is in that industry, is kind of world renowned. He was the photographer of Tony Hawk. Maybe some of you know him. Kelly Slater, who is like 11-time champion of surfing. So normally that's the type of community that's always ahead of the game. And Afif, who I've been trying to onboard, is a really good example, and I really liked the comment of it's encrypted. You know, I mean, I almost made it too easy for him. Like, I think it was like 18 months ago, I sent him like 1 ETH, just like he would have fuel, and then he basically sold it.
Oh, God.
and I told him, what the fuck? I mean, you need this to vote. You need it.
What a nice guy. What a nice guy. You're trying to onboard him and he sells the easy cent him.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a real beeple.
Well, I'm very sorry that he sold it.
That's a real beeple. Can we just make that a word? No.
But did people sell everything?
Yeah, he sold everything. He sold everything, and now he doesn't even have gas to vote or to go into the DAO, and etc. And he's crying and he's saying, yeah, but I told him. Now he said, yeah, you know, but now I have some money. I sold some pictures, and maybe I can buy some ETH again. I said, yeah, what should I buy? I said, just buy ETH. Yeah, but it's so expensive now. I said, yeah, sure, man. But anyway, it's like.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, we're getting close to the end. So we talked about
Exactly.
those 2 boosts coming out, and then one more next week probably will be the Superfluid streaming, which is I'm excited for. It's really cool.
Yeah,
Super
that's
fluid?
a super cool protocol.
Mm-hmm.
So when do we have Joel on from Ceramics? The other week?
Is that No. I mean, not a guest. I mean, the boost.
Ah, yes. Okay, I'm sorry.
But we could have Pioneer Pat or someone from Superfluid on. That would actually be a really cool one.
Yeah.
We can do like a spy versus spy kind of thing too.
Yeah.
More than interviewing one dude or dudette, it would be cool to have like people that are solving similar issues have a space to meet each other. I'm into that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Eve, tell your friend to buy a house on XDAI.
Will.
Just tell him like house on XDAI. It will never be this cheap again. I promise you.
You can play with the farms. Get some DeFi.
Yeah, I'm farming it up. Guys, so we're coming up on the hour here. We ended up having a lot of fun. Does anybody have comments they want to bring, maybe from the audience, maybe from who's ever in the panel?
Well, did you miss anything?
Boosts.
I mean, boosts are where it's at, so yeah. Oh, he's got something.
Just come speak.
Ah,
I can't go look at it. See, if I look at it, I fuck up the stream.
he's on the nationalist comment where we shouldn't be national.
Ah, definitely we shouldn't. Coming from a Brazilian, that means a lot right now, actually. We're in a pickle. You got rid of your Trump, but ours is still like fucking trolling around. Apparently, it's been quiet. All right, guys, I think it's time for us to say thank you to this incredible audience. 11 people who have been watching. Siri is welcoming. Yeah, thank you everybody for listening. We finally figured it all out. next week where we'll have a normal stream with normal guests, with normal constructive conversation that will probably be more boring than us just trolling around here. But I'll do my best. Yes, please. And this was recorded and will be uploaded. Deacon, do you want to invite some people to build some boosts?
Yeah, next Wednesday, we're having an open dev chat. If people want to stop by the Boost Dev channel.
Boost Dev channel inside the DAOhaus. How'd you call it? Server, Discord server.
Roger.
Roger. All right, that was House Party, everybody. That was Feuerfrei. Still a bunch of stuff. The open stage technical trial. Thank you for your patience. We're figuring this out, and we're going to kick off official season 2, hopefully next week.
Thanks, guys.
Aloha. Thanks, guys.
I do.